Welcome to the cabin. Today we're painting another miniature from the Warzone Eternal Kickstarter. Before we start though, please consider giving the video a like if you enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about future content. With that said, let's get to it. It's time for the Capital Mega Corporation, and we're starting with the Free Marine. If you haven't seen my previous Warzone Eternal videos, check out the playlist here. Also, click the link in the description down below if you want to check out the Kickstarter for yourself. We're down to the last 48 hours now, and we're so close to unlocking the Nephirite. Something about this Free Marine sculpt reminded me of the character Mac, played by Bill Duke in the film Predator, so I decided to paint it a little bit like him. When choosing colors, I was also inspired by the classic artwork by Paul Bonner, Paolo Parente, Terry Oakes, and Stuart Beale. I prepped the miniature in the exact same way as in the Trencher video, and once again I used the Zenithal highlight as a guide for where to place shadows and highlights. The pants were base coated with Mechanicus Standard Grey. I then washed them with Nuln Oil. After that, I layered on Skaven Blight Dinge. This was followed by Storm Vermin Fur, and then a selective highlight of Dawnstone. I used Abaddon Black to paint a few stripes on each leg. I then used Celestra Grey to paint a thinner line inside the stripes. Finally, I used Basilicanum Grey as a filter, diluted with a lot of contrast medium. I base coated the armor with Deathcore Drab. This was shaded with Athonian Camo Shade. I then layered on Deathcore Drab to bring back some definition. This was followed by Lauren Forest, which I diluted with a lot of water, applying several coats to create some transition. Next up, I used Deathguard Green in the same way. I then used Nurgling Green as an edge highlight. After that, I used Krieg Khaki selectively on the sharpest corners. For the filter, I used Militarum Green, diluted with a lot of contrast medium. Leather details were base coated with Doombull Brown. These areas were then washed with Agrax Earthshade. I then layered on Doombull Brown to bring back some definition. This was followed by Scrag Brown. I used Bestigor Flesh as an edge highlight. After that, I used Ungor Flesh selectively. Finally, I used a filter of Gore-Grunta Fur diluted with a lot of contrast medium. I used Rhinox Hide to base coat the skin. I then washed it with Agrax Earthshade. To bring back some definition, I reapplied Rhinox Hide. Next up, I applied Catachan Flesh, diluted with a lot of water. This was followed by Bloodreaver Flesh. Thereafter, I used Mournfang Brown, this time quite selectively. Finally, I used Wildwood as a filter, diluted with a lot of contrast medium. It's time for the iconic shoulder pads. I applied XV88 as a base coat. From there on, I applied Seraphim Sepia in the recesses as a pin wash. I I reapplied some XV88 to clean up the edges where necessary. For the first layer, I used Baylor Brown diluted with a lot of water. Consequently, I used a 50-50 mix of Baylor Brown and Ushabti Bone. Afterwards, I applied pure Ushabti Bone as an edge highlight. This was followed by Wraith Bone in the sharpest corners. Finally, I used Agaro's Dunes as a filter, diluted with a lot of contrast medium. As for the gloves, I used Night Lord's Blue as a base coat. I then shaded them with Drakenhof Nightshade. From there on, I reapplied Night Lord's Blue to bring back some definition. Next up, I used a 50-50 mix of Night Lord's Blue and the Fang as a highlight. This was followed by the Fang on its own. As an edge highlight, I used Rust Grey. I then used Fenrisian Grey, but a bit more selectively. At last, I painted on some Ultramarines Blue as a filter, diluted with a lot of contrast medium. The sunglasses were base coated with Abaddon Black. I then added a small dot of white scar on each lens. In the opposite corners of the dots, I layered on some Dark Reaper. Finally, I highlighted this with Celestra Grey. To base coat the rock under the foot, I used Tuskor Fur. This was followed by a highlight of a 50-50 mix of Tuskor Fur and Deathclaw Brown. I painted the symbol on the belt buckle with White Scar, Calidor Sky, and Evil Sun Scarlet. I then added a shade using Targor Raid Shade to simulate some wear and tear. I painted the metallic surfaces in a similar fashion as the Golden Lion. Check out that video if you want to know which colors I used. At last, I applied a 50-50 mix of matte and satin varnish to the whole model. I attached the figure to its base by pinning it using super glue. After that, I applied some PVA glue to add some Mars Earth from Geek Gaming Scenics to the base. I then brushed on some dark red ochre pigments from Vallejo. I think this combination works well if you're going for that Martian soil aesthetic. Finally, I finished it all off by painting the rim of the base with Abaddon Black. With that, the miniature was complete. I've said it before, these sculpts are so much fun to paint, and this one was no different. Don't forget to check out the Warzone Eternal Kickstarter page. You'll find the link in the description down below, along with social media links for Res Nova Games. Next up in this series, I will be painting the Sunset Striker, so stay tuned for his fancy swordplay in the near future. Thank you so much for watching. Click subscribe and ring that bell icon if you don't want to miss out on any other future content from the channel. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and follow us on social media for updates. We'll see you next time. Good luck with your miniatures.